where the team is right now?
Wow. Good afternoon. My name is Michael, and I just finished watching a Liverpool match. I think of recent, we have not really seen much of Liverpool. Most importantly, when they play with those so-called smaller teams, we always struggle against them. And against Crystal Palace is also one of it, because I discovered that there are almost some of the matches that we have ended up drawing, like the match against Luton Town. And if you look at the performance of Luton Town, I don't think Liverpool should be a kind of team that should struggle winning Luton Town, because Luton Town have been giving points to almost even mid-table teams. So for Liverpool to play draw against Luton Town, that's to tell us that we are not really up to that level that we ought to play as Liverpool team. Because the Liverpool that we know for years back, we see the energy, we see the tenacity, we see the strength in the team. But right now, we don't really see much of it. And the reason is because most of the other teams, I think almost all the teams are struggling this season. Because if not, I think Liverpool will have been ahead. If at all, the team that will be closer to them should be someone like Arsenal, because Man City are not really playing up to expectation. People have, even from the beginning of the season, most people have already given the league to Man City as usual. But seeing them this season, I think Man City have not really played up to expectation. So, like the game we played this afternoon, in fact, it was intense. You can see that I'm sweating. Because, that's to tell you the level at which Liverpool are playing now. And I expect Liverpool to improve in the next game, because if they continue with this kind of playing style and the way they played against Crystal Palace today, they will find it difficult to play Man U. Even though we're going to be playing at Anfield, they will find it very difficult to play Man U. Though we know that Man U too, they are struggling, but notwithstanding, when we talk about rivalry, it's still there. So that's just it. But the Crystal Palace was not that palatable. It's not something I expected. Even though for the red card, maybe Liverpool will have bottled the game up. So that's just it.
And talking about even the penalties that was considered today, what do you think about the penalty given to Crystal Palace? Do you think that the defender, was it necessary even making that tackle? Was it because I saw Van Dijk already covering the Crystal Palace attacker. Then I saw the defender who came to us to probably out of pressure wanted to kick the ball out of play. Do you think it was more or less under pressure that penalty came from the young Liverpool Kwanzaa? So do you think it was just under some kind of intense pressure from his end because of how big the responsibility was given to him today in the game?
Looking at from the angle of Jare Kwanzaa, I think that tackle was very, very unnecessary. Because by the time you see the so-called we Liverpool fans called Almighty Van Dijk, as we know him to be, he was already there covering that ball and already covering the striker. So I didn't expect Jare Kwanzaa to come and tackle the striker. That should be Mateta, I guess. So at the end of the day, that penalty was too cheap for me. So if not for that penalty, I don't really see much of Crystal Palace. They didn't really bring much to the game. They were more of a defensive team this afternoon, in which we know them to be a defensive team. Looking at the manager that's also managed and which has also managed Liverpool before, we know him to be a kind of defensive-minded kind of a manager. Roy Hodgson, yes. So, and that is also what I expect Crystal Palace to play, because if they are to come out and attack against Liverpool, definitely they will pay for it more than what they have gotten this afternoon. So, but that's what I expect them. But from the angle of Jare Kwanzaa, I do expect him to go in that manner. Is very, very unnecessary. That's just it.
Looking at Liverpool's midfield, I still feel that I still saw that at like the midfield still needs some reinforcement, because there's still that lack of solidity. seeing the way Endo was handling the pressure. Although yes, he tried, but I could see that there was so much going on, that the physicality coming from Crystal Palace, that you could see that he was not able to carry that responsibility at that defensive midfield role that probably he was being bought for. So do you think Liverpool January might have to go for a defensive midfielder, or probably an attacking midfielder, although you have McAllister? So, but I feel that midfield still lacks that solidity. What's your thoughts?
So even before the beginning of the season, we are already looking at that direction. That after selling the likes of Jordan Henderson, Fabio, and the likes, we are expecting Jurgen Klopp and FSG at least to get us a solid defensive midfielder. But at the end of the day, we have to settle with Endo. I don't know, maybe it's because as a result of financial constraints or something. Maybe we don't really have much. And but looking at it today, Endo tried his best, but the strength is not there. Looking at the defensive, looking at the midfielders that Crystal Palace paraded, I don't think, and with their physicality, their strength, and their height, I think they used that to intimidate Endo. So, and that's created a kind of lapses on the midfield, because you couldn't really control much of the midfield.
Yes,
it was actually Crystal Palace that controlled the midfield. And we cannot also disregard the fact that McAllister is not also there because of his creativity, at least in the midfield. Just like I said, Endo tried his best, but I think Liverpool need to get a defensive midfielder that can complement the effort of Endo in the midfield. If at all, if you can get someone like Andre from one of the Brazilian team, that's Flamengo precisely. So if you can get someone like Andre Trinidad, so to come to that defensive midfielder, as a defensive midfielder, it will help the Liverpool to solidify that midfield. Because if you continue with Endo, we are overstretching Endo's the strength and everything that the guy has come to Liverpool with. So I think at this point, Jurgen Klopp and the owner of the Liverpool has to look at getting a solidified defensive midfielder, so that with the other midfielders we have like Zoboslai and McAllister, it will create room for McAllister to play in his attacking role instead of improvising him to play in the midfield as a defensive midfielder, which is not. So it will allow him to play in front and also advance row and create more chances for our forward and attackers. I think that's what I have to say on that.
Anyways, it's a pleasure meeting you. A Liverpool fan, Michael Woody.
I feel so relaxed at the moment. At least we know that for some few hours we'll be topping the table, pending the time Arsenal will play their own game, with the hope that they either draw, because draw will do us well, because drawing the match will make us to have the same points, but we'll be leading them on goals. So I think we should look forward to
the Arsenal. I can't wait. I can't wait too. I can't wait.
At the end of it, I won't mind to be part of it, so that I will know to kick the Arsenal fans' ass, because they were here this afternoon. They don't really want me to win, or because they were topping the team. So that's just it.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Happy having you this afternoon.
Yeah. Well, this is Football Corner, and if you like this content, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.